Hello everyone and welcome for a Pride48 training video. My name is Adam and I'm going to walk you through how to broadcast from your Mac. And we're going to go over, the software we're going to go over tonight is called AudioHijack, and we will also have another video for you to use for a free application. AudioHijack is a for-pay application, and the reason that I'm going to be covering this one is because a lot of you who do shows use Skype or other input on your computer, and you need to be able to route a bunch of audio from various applications into the stream and also into a recording. So we're going to go over this and show you how to use it, and then we'll have another video for a separate application that you can use that is a more simple application but doesn't have the features that you'll need if you're using Skype or if you're using other audio from your computer and you want that to be heard over the stream and or recorded. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to show you, again, the name of the application is AudioHijack, and you can get to that by going to Rogue Amoeba software on your browser. So it's rogueamoeba.com. And from there, you're going to actually go to Store, and there's a place to buy AudioHijack. So you're going to click on Buy, and you can purchase now. It's a $59 purchase. You can also download, if you scroll down to the bottom of that page, you can also try it for free. There's a free download down at the bottom. You can also, if you already owned AudioHijack at some point, and I believe it was AudioHijack Pro, there is a $25 upgrade. Now, I'm uncertain of the various versions of AudioHijack. Anyone who's owned it in the past, you'll be more familiar with that. So you can go over there and you can actually look and see if you qualify for that. Now, I'm not going to do the install today. I'm going to assume that if you have a Mac computer, that you know how to install an application on a Mac, but you're basically going to download the application and you're going to install it the normal way that you would install a downloaded application for a Mac. So I'm going to go ahead and open up AudioHijack. Now, I will tell you the trial version, you can use that to try it out. So you can download it, install it. But what will happen on that is after 10 minutes, they'll add static to the audio. So you won't be able to use that for the stream because your show is going to be an hour on the day of the June live streaming event. And so you will not be able to use that for the live stream. Also, if you stream on a regular basis, or if you want to stream on a regular basis on Pride48, that will not be a very convenient option to try to use the free version because you'll have to stop the stream every 10 minutes, restart the application, and you probably don't want to do that. All right, so after you've downloaded it, I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to pull up my notes here, and I'm going to show you AudioHijack. So after you've downloaded it, you're going to go ahead and install it, and then you're going to open it up. So I'm going to do that now. And when you open it up, you're actually going to see, let me close that. All right, so you're actually going to see something like this. It's going to be a little bit more bare than what you're seeing from me because you will have never created any sessions, but this is basically what you're going to see. AudioHijack is going to open up, and you're going to see a couple of tabs, a few tabs across the top: sessions, recordings, and schedule. And then you're going to see pretty much a blank space here. I've got some sessions already created, but we're going to go through creating a new one. So you're going to click on New Session, and when you click on that, it's actually going to bring up a session template chooser. And you can start with a new blank session, or you can actually choose one of the session templates that they've already created. So you see you have several options. You have If you just want to record an application, if you want to record a DVD, if you want to increase volume, if you want to record an input device like a mixer or a microphone, or you'll see one that says internet radio. So if you want to broadcast to an internet radio station, and that's what you actually want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that one, and I double click, and it brings up the session creation panel. And this is where you're going to do all of your creation of the session. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to, what it starts with is just kind of a sample of what you would want to do. It has an input device and it has an application. So you'll see that here it's chosen iTunes. So if you do a lot of play music and things like that from iTunes, that would be a good choice for you. I do not actually have iTunes installed on this computer, so I'm going to choose a different application. So I'm just going to go in and choose Google Chrome, and I'm going to then go to the input device and make sure that it's using my USB microphone that I'm recording on right now. So now, once you've set that, you've now got two inputs. You've got your Google Chrome application, so anything you play inside of Google Chrome will be picked up by AudioHijack. You've also got your microphone, and that will also be picked up by AudioHijack. So you'll see here, they've got a peak meter and view meters here, and that's just to show you that you can actually view levels of your tracks separately. You can also view the levels of the tracks together, and these little components can be dragged around and connected in different ways. So now I'm going to move over. Once I've got my inputs selected, I'm going to move over to the broadcast section, and I'm going to click on the broadcast component, and I'm going to click on setup. Now, the other tabs up here, status and metadata, you can fill those in, especially the metadata, but you don't have to. For setup, you're going to go to IceCast 2, and then all of this information under that is going to be sent to you. If you're doing the June live streaming event, this is going to be sent to you in an email this year. But if you also want to register to do your show regular or on a regular basis, that would be sent to you at the time that you actually request to schedule a recurring live stream for yourself. But I'm going to use some sample information here. So the server address is radio.pride48.live. The port is 8002. Now I'm going to use a fake user and password, but you'll get your own in an email. And then the mount point is show. And if that changes, you'll get a different, all of this will be in the email. Now for encoding format, you're actually going to want to click on quality and go down to custom. You'll select MP3 for the format. For bitrate, you're going to choose 96 kbps. For bitrate mode, you're going to choose constant bitrate. For sample rate, you're going to choose 44/100. And channels, you're going to choose mono. And that's it. You've set that up, and that's all good to go. So now everything that you've put as an input, so Chrome and your input device, you're actually not going to hear through your headphones. And the way that you're actually going to do that is, if you want to hear, is you're actually going to set up an output device. And this output device will actually, you can tell that where to go. Now, what I'll tell you is, if you choose to route your microphone to an output device, it may sound a little weird to you or a little echoey, or there may be a slight delay from when you actually talk. to when you hear that in your headphones. So you can play around with that and see what you like, but I just wanted to let you know you may not want to put your microphone back out as an output, and there's a way that you can set a separate output device. So you can literally drag these around, and you can set an output device for just one. So you can output just one of the applications, and then because as you drag these around, these connect differently. So now this output will only output Google Chrome. It will not output my microphone. My microphone will go straight to the broadcast. I can see whether or not, my levels are good, but I won't actually hear that through my headphones. If I want to hear both, I can just slide this back over, and now you see the way the lines are lining up. I'm going to hear both the application and the input device, or my microphone, through my internal speakers. So I'll go ahead and give you a little bit more information. If you want to record this, you can also record. Now, all of these components that you're seeing right here, all of these are available in the sources in this menu on the right-hand side. So you have sources, you have outputs, you have effects that you can add. You also have advanced options like ducking, input switching, syncing, time shifting. The meters are what are going to show you the volume of whatever you connect it to. And then you have effects. So there are all kinds of high pass, low pass, etc. that you can add as well. And we don't have time to get into those in this tutorial, but those are available if you want your audio to go through any sort of filters before it goes either to your recording or to the broadcast. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a recorder. So the way you do that is you scroll up to outputs and you'll see a recorder here. I just click on that and I drag it over. And it doesn't really matter, but you can put it before or after the broadcast. That doesn't really make a difference unless you wanted to add some more effects before the recording or before the broadcast. Let's say I wanted to do some sort of EQ, but I only wanted to do that for the broadcast. I didn't want to do it for the recording. So I could drag the EQ over. I could drag the recorder before the EQ, and the EQ would only process before the broadcast. It would not affect the recording. So if you right click or if you control click on any component, you'll get this menu to either turn it off or delete it. I'm going to delete that block. And then I'm actually going to scoot my recorder to the end. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my settings for my recorder. So if you click on the recorder, it'll bring up settings, and you can play around with this, but there are all kinds of settings that you can do. You can split the recording. You can enter a file name format that you want to use. You can set your recording format. You can give a title and an artist. There are all kinds of things you can do here. I'm not going to worry about setting all of that. I'm outputting as an MP3 right now. Now I'm just going to go ahead and test it out. So in order to test it out, you will actually click on record. So I'm going to click record at the bottom. And now you'll see that the input from my microphone is actually going, and you may hear a little bit of an echo because I'm coming out of the speakers as well, but you'll see that my microphone is now going through output device, broadcast, and it's also being recorded. Now, if I wanted to turn off the output device, I could turn off the output device, and that way I won't be going through the speakers, but you'll see that that is being recorded. If I want to bring anything up on Chrome, that will be recorded as well. So let me just play, what's going through pride48.com, and you'll see that once that starts playing, you'll see actual audio going through here. Now, you're not going to hear this on the recording because I don't have this piped to go to the recording, but you'll see that that's going through there. So both my mic and what's playing through Google Chrome is now going to go onto the recorder, and it's also going to go onto the broadcast. So everything is being heard from the broadcast. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that. And I'm going to stop that stream now so it's not coming through the microphone. And all right, so that's done. So we're going to pause here, and I'll come back and show you a more advanced setup for those of you who want to use something like Skype. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to add Skype to the mix. So I know a lot of you use Skype for your co-host, and AudioHijack does allow you to pull in Skype as well. So I'm going to start with just the broadcast block because I've already set that up. So you'll see I deleted some of the other blocks and I just have the broadcast block right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in an application again. So I'm going to go over to sources and I'm going to drag application in. And I'm going to click on application to select an app. I'm going to click on Skype, and then I'm going to actually click on advanced. So what you want to do is they already have some settings set. So they have include audio input. So what that's going to do is that's actually going to pick up your mic from Skype. So whatever input you have selected for Skype that that the people that you're talking to or your co-hosts hear, that is also what AudioHijack is going to pick up as well. And you want to go ahead and do this. This is the simplest way. There are other ways to do it. You can pull your input in separately, but that becomes a little more complicated, and I'm not going to go over that in this tutorial. So if you want to do that and get fancy and do separate EQ on your mic versus Skype and separate volume and separate leveling and all that kind of stuff, you can go over to their website that I showed at the beginning of the video, and they have documents, or they have documentation on how to do more advanced things. And I'm also going to put links to a couple of other videos that you can look at that are on YouTube that get into a little bit more advanced. But we're going to keep it as simple as possible here, just for the sake of teaching you how to get your audio going to the right place. I do want to talk about one thing here. They have an option, so include audio input, and then they have another one called split between channels. Now, what that will do, if you're recording, that will actually split your guest into one of the channels, and it will split your microphone into the other channel. And it actually says audio inputs will be placed on the left channel, while the application's audio output will be placed on the right channel. So what that means is the audio coming to you from Skype will go on the right, and your microphone will go on the left. And the reason you would want to do that is because for your recording, if you want to be able to record and edit your volume or your audio separate from your guest's audio or volume, or anything that you want to do after the fact, then that would be helpful for you to put it in left and right. Now, keep in mind that also will affect what's going to the broadcast, which means your microphone would go to the left and your guest would go to the right. Now, in this case, because I've told you to do mono for the broadcast, that will not affect anything because basically that's going to get merged back together. If you did select stereo for the broadcast, then you would have a situation where you would be in one ear and your guest would be in a different ear when people are listening. So I just want to keep that in mind. So one thing you can do if you want to just avoid any confusion is you can uncheck that box, and that means you and your guest are going to go, both are going to be in left and right. But if you want to, if you're recording it and you want to be able to edit separately, you can go ahead and check split between channels. And really that's all you have to do. Your mic is going to come in and their audio is going to come in as well. There's one other thing that you have to do, and that's in Skype. So if I open up Skype here, I just have it on the test audio screen because I don't have anyone to call at the moment. But you do want to make sure that your microphone is selected as the one that you want to actually be heard. So you want to make sure that you select, so what's coming in from my mixer is the USB audio codec. So I want to make sure that that's selected because that's also what AudioHijack is going to hear. And that's also what anyone on the stream is going to hear and also what's going to be on the recording. So you want to make sure that that is selected. Speakers you can leave at default device, or you can set it on, however you want that to happen. AudioHijack is going to take over the audio though, so that won't matter so much. All right, so I've got the application, which is including the output and input, and I've got the broadcast set. Just to remind you, we did the settings at the top for the server address, port, user, password, and the mount point, which will all be sent to you in an email. And then in coding format, you select custom, and then all of this information could change. So I'm not going to focus too much on it. You want to make sure that your settings match what is emailed to you because we could change those at any time. But right now I've got MP3 as the format, 96 kbps, constant bitrate, 44100, and stereo. I'm going to change that back to mono. I was playing around with something earlier, but we did set that to mono. All right, so we're all set to broadcast. I can go ahead and click the record button, and that's going to connect to the stream, and I'm now on the air. So that's all you have to do is that. Now you kind of see in this orange line here that when I'm talking, you'll see me kind of towards the top of the line. If I go over and play the test audio in Skype, you'll see that is showing up at the bottom. So you'll see my audio is at the top and the Skype audio is at the bottom. You can't hear it because I don't have an output set, but I just wanted to show you the visual. So I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And then what I'm going to show you, now we're just going to add a couple of things here. And one of the things we're going to add, we've already done in the first part of the recording, but I just want to bring it up again. You can add a recorder back, and the recorder can go before or after the broadcast. That doesn't really matter. Remember that the audio processing happens from left to right. So if you put any effects in between, those effects will happen, and then it will go to whatever, whatever you're doing. So if you want something for the broadcast that you don't want for the recorder, you'd want to put it in between broadcast and recorder. If you wanted some effects for the recorder but not for the broadcast, then you would actually want to set the broadcast first and then set whatever effects between those two. I'm not going to go into that here, but you can mess around with that. There are lots of effects available, and you can mess around with that. So I put the recorder there. If I click on that, remember you can set a file name format. You can tell it where to save. You can give it split information, like if you want to split the recording. You can tell it what quality you want. You have MP3 as an option. You have AAC as an option. And you have AIFF, which is uncompressed. There is custom as well, so you can go in and set this stuff, which does give you WAV as an option as well if you like to edit from WAV, and gives you some options to change that. This will not affect the broadcast at all. This is only your recording settings. So this is just how it will record. You can set all of that. You can also set that to stereo or mono. Remember, if you want to do the left and right track for your audio and your guest audio, you need to make sure that your recording is also set to stereo. Otherwise, if you have chosen mono on that, then it will also merge everything together and you won't have those two separate tracks to edit. So the last thing I'll cover really quick, we already went over at the beginning of the recording, but is if you want to add other audio, so other than Skype, if you want to add in, I don't know, Google Chrome because you're going to play something on YouTube, or if you have a soundboard application, or if you have some music you want to play through iTunes or anything like that, however you're going to play maybe your opening and closing theme, etc. That is going to be another application, so you can just pull that over here. And that's really all you have to do. You see it's already connected to the recorder and to the broadcast because that line is joining up and going to both. So you'll get this audio in both the recording and the broadcast. I want to select an application just like I did for Skype. And I don't have iTunes on this computer. I'll just go ahead and select Google Chrome. And then, you have some advanced options which we're not going to go into, but that's all you have to do. So now anything you play in Google Chrome will also go into the recording and also go into the broadcast. And lastly, if you want to hear yourself, and you also obviously want to hear your guests, then you are going to need to put an output device. So I can drag this output device here. And that's going to get both Google Chrome and Skype. And then I've selected headphones. So if you want to change that, you can click on output device and you can choose where you want that audio to go. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Once you get everything set up and the way that you want it, then you click record. That will connect you to the stream and also start your recorder. And when you're ready to stop, you just click the record button again to stop the stream. And that's all you have to do. Now, if you have any more advanced setups or you need help with this, you can reach out to us. There's a contact page over at pride48.com that gives you information on how to reach out to all of the suits. And we can hook you up with someone to give you a little bit more hand-holding if you need that. Also, I do want to mention one last technical thing. In this setup, your guest, if you did have a Skype setup, your guest will not hear anything else coming from your computer in this setup. There's other software required if you want to be able to route your computer audio back to your Skype guest. And that's out of the scope of this video. But there are ways to do that, and you can certainly investigate those. We don't have time to cover them here. But this is the only setup you'll need to get both your guests, any extra audio on your computer, and yourself all recorded and going to the Pride 48 stream. The last thing I'll say about this is that I forgot, you can actually add all system audio if you want, and that's available over here in system audio. You can actually add system audio, and that's another option for getting all of your applications there. I'm going to go ahead and close that. All right, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching the video. And again, go over to pride48.com and go to the contact section if you have any questions, or reply to the email that you get with your streaming information, and we'd be happy to help you.